So, it's interesting that when I studied theology, I had 2 courses about speaking. And this is why I speak too much. And sometimes if I am speaking too much, people may do nasty things there. But, so the thing is that when I was studying theology, there wasn't any course about listening. Just about talking. And it's very hard for us to give space to people when we are talking to them. Because we want to so hard be listened to, we want to so hard to be valued, we want to so hard that people value our ideas and that they know who we are. And we forget the purpose of communication. The purpose of communication is hearing people. And it's interesting that when you value people's ideas, people value your ideas. People will respect your ideas the more you will respect their ideas. So we need sometimes to do an effort to listen to people. But see, listening is not only being quiet. It's more than being quiet. It's being quiet inside. Because sometimes people are talking and we are figuring out what we are going to say. We are thinking about what we are going to say. And we are anxious that they stop so we can say something. So we are not really listening to them. We are just thinking what we are going to say. And worse than this is when we judge what people say. And we think, it doesn't make sense. Completely wrong. So you see that when we listen to people, we need to have our hearts open. But it's interesting that right before the seminar, I didn't have much power in my words. I'm going to explain why. There was a guy, there were some people and a guy made me a question. He asked me my opinion about praise music. And you imagine which person he was asking opinion. Because as you know, I'm very conservative, right, about music. So he talked to me, Pastor, you know, this music that they are using nowadays. And I was someday in a camp meeting. And there was a pastor, see, and it was a pastor. Yeah, he had a band there, and they had drums, and they were playing that music loud. Pastor, I don't think this is the kind of music for church. And I talked to him, have you realized how the churches are getting so empty? That they don't have young people? Because the young people don't want to be in those churches. They are dying alive. You don't have good music. You don't have something that will touch their hearts. They want to do classical at church nowadays. What do you think? And my friends, when the seminar started, he was not there anymore. He wasn't there because he felt hurt by me. Because I disagreed with him. And you remember the illustration that I gave about the psychological error, right? That feeling important is so important for us. We all need to feel important. And when you disagree with somebody, when you say that somebody is wrong, and realize something, it's not just say that that person is wrong. It's pretending to be right all the time. We have a need so great, so intense to be right, and we don't realize that we are right at the cost of making people feel wrong and feel devalued, feel inferior. And my friends, we need to be open to learn something. It's so hard for us when we have made up our minds to learn something from people. And you see that we have our beliefs, we have our values, and most of these beliefs and values we didn't acquire by ourselves. We received it through our upbringing. But we don't want to lose these beliefs and these values. We are so attached to them. It's like getting out of our comfort zone to live these beliefs. So when we listen to people, we need to be able or to be open to learn something new from them. And I have this book, as Pastor showed today, right? And I have some things that I have learned through my meditations, through my readings. But my friends, if I would have a little bit of your wisdom here, if I would put all of your wisdom together here, it would be much more than this book. It would be an encyclopedia. This is why it's so important that I learn from you. So when I talk to you, I need to be open to learn something from you. So this is why it's so important to listen to you. When we talk to people, we need to stimulate people to talk. We need to stimulate them to talk. We need to make them questions. And when they say something, we need to compliment them on their ideas. We need to be open to what they say. We need even to challenge our beliefs and our values. And another important aspect of communication is that we should never argue. We should never argue. You know that our arguments are a kind of intimacy that we create. When we know somebody for the first time, we are very respectful. But when we create an intimacy, we start thinking that we have the right to argue with the person. And sometimes to be even disrespectful. And my friends, it's interesting that the people who we are most disrespectful sometimes are our family. But we don't have the right to have that kind of intimacy. The right intimacy, or the true intimacy, is when we respect people's ideas, when we are able to listen to people, when we are respectful when we talk to them. So, why do we argue with people? You know that argument is a competition. Sometimes we feel inferior by what the person said to you. And when you feel inferior, you want to show that you are not inferior. You want to show that you are important, that the other person is inferior. So you talk back to the other person. You hurt the other person back. And then start that competition. And one says something, the other says something, and I don't want to lose from you. So I want to show my value to you. But my friends, in terms of communication, in terms of relationship, winning is losing. When you win an argument, you have lost. Because you may be right, but when you make the other person wrong, you strip that person of her dignity. That person is going to resent you. You may show that she is wrong, but she's going to resent you. And a person who accepts that is wrong against her will, she really didn't accept your idea. So, this is very important that when you say something to someone, you are very careful. I was in a church someday, and I would make a seminar. And the seminar was about the power of the word.